Hey everybody, this is John and welcome to the free video. So let's take a look here at the dollar index. You can see the dollar index over the last week has had a really solid move and the squeeze has yet to even trigger. I am looking for this to go to the fire line, and as we have talked about a couple of times, is that a lot of times the best way to play long dollar is to be short the euro. So this is one of the trades that we did in the trading room, and also the trade of the week was to buy puts on FXE. And at this point, the put options that we bought at $3.20 are $5.50. Now note that, so one question right now is like, okay, do we take profits? Do we take profits? I am waiting for a potentially bigger move. This is one of those where it's tricky because, hey, making, in this case, you know, it's up like almost 80%. That's great. That's a great profit. But if the euro actually goes to par with the dollar, which is, you know, what's looking on here, which is what it's looking like, this could drop another $5. And then suddenly this turns into a $10 option or even a $12 option, and suddenly that's a much bigger kind of a rate of return. So, and that's something, it's tricky, but the key with managing this kind of stuff, and of course you could do the euro futures here, and that's what I did there. But the key with managing this stuff, and if we look at the euro here, is just to be clear on what time frame you're trading. So on something like this, you know, if you're trading a weekly chart, then in this case, that's where I'm going to be taking my signals from. So it's like, all right, just pretend if this was a 5-minute chart and you got in on a squeeze, you know, it'd be like, well, okay, this thing still has momentum here that we could get down to this level and potentially this level. What's tough is on a weekly chart, you could spend 3 days going against it, and 3 days can seem like an eternity, but ultimately everything's just fine. So on something like this, I am looking at this from the perspective of where are we on a week-to-week basis, not where are we on a, say, a 5-minute basis, okay? And then another trade that was interesting today, we texted this one out, is on Alta. Alta has earnings coming up, so we did a specific earnings trade kind of around this. You can see that the daily chart there is fairly positive. The weekly chart is also fairly positive, okay? And so on this, we specifically bought this series of options, the 190s, 38 days out, with the idea that we can capitalize on both the increase in implied volatility and the increase in interest surrounding a stock 3 weeks prior to earnings. All right, and so that's kind of what we're doing there. And then what's interesting is that as we kind of look at the overall markets right now, they're kind of, you know, so-so, kind of blah. There are some stocks like PANW, which are showing some clear signs of rolling over, right? And then on the other hand, there's some other stocks like Amazon that are continuing to put in a good showing here and are just going. And so it was interesting when we were in Las Vegas, Don had done a talk on, hey, you know what? I'm just focusing on the short side of this market and loving it. And a lot of people were intrigued and they were just kind of asking, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, let me explain it to you. And so it was a pretty popular talk, and so he wanted to do a follow-up with that and this upcoming Saturday. So this is going to be a Saturday class. So this is the link right here, simpleroptions.com/short. And I love the title of this. He's shorting the markets and loving it. That's very much a Don Kaufman title. You can imagine him saying it over and over and over again. So what he's going to do is a Saturday class and then add a live trading component for those of you that are interested in that. So the Saturday class is going to be this upcoming Saturday, November 14th from 2 to 5 East Coast time. And his whole idea with this is just talking about strategies on how to short markets, specifically in this kind of environment, while selling premium, learning the techniques that he has used to sustain his short positions while waiting for volatility to strike markets. What's fascinating is that during this whole run-up, Don's been focusing on the short side and has been fine because of the strategies that he's employing on it, when obviously the markets haven't really been going down, right? And what's intriguing about it as well, of course, is that at some point, I mean, we're all kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop on the markets. I mean, if you're positioned and the markets roll over and die, that's great. But then how do you stay positioned if the market, you know, keeps moving higher? So he's going to also talking about the techniques that he's used to sustain his short positions. Okay, we just talked about that. How to identify the most promising short stock candidates so you can know exactly what stocks to trade and most importantly, what to avoid. How option skew can help you finance your short position. This is the kind of stuff where if you don't have someone like Don that knows how this works and can explain it to you, you're going to be at a disadvantage, okay? Find the most crucial criteria for selling the correct options so you never have to guess. What are the advantages and disadvantages of selling short-dated or weekly options? Okay, and I love that part of it. Learn how to roll your short options without sitting in front of the computer throughout the trading day. This is a common question I get. You know, how do you manage these or roll these without having to do that? And Don just set it up automatically. Discover stock replacement strategies to help conserve capital, and this will be recorded online. Okay, now from here, what will happen is after the strategies class, if you like all this stuff but you want to see it live, Don is going to do this live as well. And in this case, the Saturday class, just to go in and learn all the strategies and everything you need to know, is just $197. And if you're interested in tacking on the live trading component for the morning of Tuesday, the 17th, it's $297. This actually obviously includes this. So for $297, you get the live trading and the Saturday class, and you'll have everything you need to know for shorting the markets and loving it in this type of environment. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you at the next update.